One of the things I never expected to do on this channel was talk about League of Legends, a game that earned its reputation as one of the most hated games of all time, or at least one of the easiest to meme. It's a game I have the unfortunate pleasure of playing and enjoying and despising at the same time, usually. So, when Netflix announced a League of Legends TV show, I was thinking what any reasonable person probably would have thought when it came to a video game adaptation. It was probably going to be a visually pleasing dumpster fire. I don't like going into things with low expectations, but if the World of Warcraft movie can teach us anything, it's that video game adaptations are not always meant to be. But I'm surprised. And honestly, I'm incredibly glad to say that Arcane managed to blow away every single expectation I had for a League of Legends show. In its first few minutes, not only does it manage to display it as one of the most well-animated CG animated shows of all time, but also it has more emotion than 90% of any other adaptations, or hell, any other thing that Netflix has made. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and I'm gonna be honest, I think it's one of the greatest television shows of all time. Yeah, I know, it's a pretty tough title to live up to, especially with me saying every time I release a video that something is the new greatest whatever of all time. But I'm not even ashamed to say it this time. Of course, part of it's due to its absolutely stellar animation. I'm a big fan of traditional animation because I love how much more life can be given to everything compared to in most CG animated films. But Arcane is different. It uses its CG animation as amazingly as Into the Spider-Verse does. Every single character moves beautifully, everything has weight, everything feels powerful and real, even in such an unrealistic world. The way the characters are designed gives them unique personalities, it gives them a huge range of emotions, and uses that range to make some of the most emotionally impactful animation I've ever seen. Everything is vibrant, and every location, no matter how big or small, feels real. The animation brings the world of Arcane to life. The fights have so much energy, so much more life than any fight scene I see nowadays. And they actually have stakes, they make you care. It's just, hands down, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Kane especially does an amazing job at world building without shoving everything down our throats in big chunks of exposition. The world is revealed through the visuals or through interactions. It doesn't feel like a half-baked universe. It feels like an actual world built with intricate lore from League of Legends. Hell, the show actually made me become interested in League's lore, something I really didn't pay attention when I played the game. But the one thing that makes me say that Arcane is one of the greatest shows of all time, the thing that sets it high above any other show I've seen before, is the heart and emotion it carries through every single scene in the show. Arcane's main plotline is about two girls, Vi and Jinx, and their lives in the underground city of Zon. Unlike most video game adaptations, I would usually just go for the biggest scale possible. Arcane stays small, grounded. Most of the emotion is from the heartbreaking relationship between Vi and Jinx, what drove them apart, the horrors they witnessed, and their love for each other. I can't even begin to tell you how much I thought about that third episode after watching it. Absolute fear, the heartbreak of watching the characters lose the people they love, the subtle moments like when Vi sees a part of Powder's monkey bomb. That single scene broke me because it didn't show that Vi knew Powder had been the one responsible for killing her family, but it means that she thought that it meant she would never see her sister again. And that was powerful, man. The build-up created one of the most emotionally impactful episodes of television I've ever seen. That episode changed me. It was one of the most painfully perfect episodes of television I ever watched, and it proved that the team behind Arcane truly cared about what they were making. After that, every single scene with Vi and Jinx carried so much strong emotion. It's genuinely one of the best examples of how to create good emotional stories I've ever seen. And then those next 3 episodes released, and I was blown away again just by how much power this story had. I absolutely loved what they did with Jinx, how they made her trauma turn her into a completely different person, someone so broken they kill without remorse, someone that can't forget their past, no matter how hard they try. I loved that they waited until the 6th episode to show Jinx and Vi's reunion, and they showed that it wasn't even a happy one. Jinx's broken mind didn't allow it to be happy. The trauma the two shared couldn't let the reunion be happy. And that reunion only took place in the last 10 minutes of that 6th episode. The rest of Act 2 of Arcane spent its time focusing on its subplots or perfectly examining what the world did to Vi and Jinx in the time we didn't see them, how they changed. But those last 10 minutes, man, those 10 minutes, like the 3rd episode, worked because of a perfect build-up and a perfect understanding of how to make these subtle moments feel big. Like when Vi watches in horror as Jinx rains fire on the firelights, realizing that she turned her sister into the one thing she didn't want her to become. And then they tear the two apart again. Before I talk about those last 3 episodes, I want to make it clear how much I've thought about this show. If it wasn't blatantly obvious by the fact that this video is probably releasing the same weekend as the final 3 episodes, I've been working on this video since Act 2 released, because I knew at the moment that this show, one of the only pieces of art that managed to make me feel so much more than ever before, would be my new favorite television show. After Act 2 dropped, I rewatched all 6 episodes 4 times, soon to be a 5th and maybe even a 6th, because I just loved this show so much. So I waited a week for the last act to arrive. And what did I think? Well, it was spectacular. It wasn't perfect, but it was everything it needed to be. It was a heartbreaking look at how trauma can shape people, a commentary on war and class struggles, and an emotional ending to a story that I've loved so much. Maybe the 8th episode wasn't as strong as the rest, but everything else, and especially those last 20 minutes of episode 9, were utterly perfect. Beautiful, heartbreaking culmination showing what Jinx's trauma did to her and her choice to leave her past self dead. Even with the chance to have her sister back, she didn't take it. She couldn't take it. What she did, what Silco did to her, what the world did to her, couldn't allow for the happy ending that these characters should have had. But maybe the show didn't need a happy ending. But everything else, from what they did with Echo's journey of vengeance to Victor's realization of his actions, was beautiful. I really didn't expect anything from League of Legends to actually make me feel more than I've felt in a while, but I guess stranger things have happened. Truth be told, I didn't love every part of Arcane, but as a whole, the show means more to me than anything else I've seen on Netflix, or on television, or even anything in the past year. But also, when I watched episode 3, there's part of me that wanted to hate it. Not because of the fact that a League of Legends show could manage to make me speechless, no, but because part of it scared me. It scared me, an aspiring filmmaker, because I didn't think I could make anything better. Then as I rewatched the show repeatedly, the desire to hate it, to say it was terrible so I could make myself feel better, disappeared. Because it made me remember why I wanted to create. I want to create something that can make people feel the way I feel when I watch my favorite movies or shows. So, I want to thank everyone involved in making this show. Netflix, its writers, the directors, the animators, hell, even Riot Games, for making something so beautiful and so full of emotion. And I'm glad to say, without shame, that I love Arcane, and I think it's one of the best television shows I'll ever watch.